The prevailing myth of the job interview posits it as a meritocratic crucible, a neutral arena where technical competence is objectively measured. This narrative, assiduously cultivated by human resources departments and popular self-help literature, is a convenient fiction designed to obscure the profound psychological warfare and power negotiations that truly define these encounters. To embrace this illusion is to enter the arena disarmed, perceiving the process through a lens of naive idealism rather than cynical realism. The curriculum vitae, that meticulously crafted document of achievements, often serves merely as a ticket to the main event, not the key to victory. Its primary function is to establish a baseline of plausibility, a minimum viable product for consideration, rather than a definitive statement of superiority. The true contest unfolds not on paper but within the intricate dance of human perception, where unspoken cues and strategic narratives hold far greater sway than any enumerated skill set. We must dismantle this comforting falsehood to grasp the underlying truth. The interview, in its most distilled form, is an ancient ritual of evaluation, a modern-day court where a supplicant seeks favor from a potentate. It is not an objective assessment of your ability to perform a task, but a subjective appraisal of your perceived value, your potential threat, and your alignment with the existing power structure. The interviewer, consciously or unconsciously, is seeking not merely a competent hand, but a compliant mind, a strategic asset, or perhaps a reflection of their own ambitions. This perspective shatters the conventional wisdom that suggests diligent preparation of rote answers is the path to success. Instead, it compels a more profound engagement with the mechanics of influence and the architecture of human motivation. To succeed, one must transcend the superficiality of correct answers and instead focus on manipulating the perception of self, strategically aligning one's persona with the unarticulated needs and fears of the gatekeeper. This demands a level of psychological acuity rarely acknowledged in standard preparation guides. Consider the historical parallels: a general seeking an audience with a king, a diplomat petitioning an emperor, a courtier vying for influence. Their success never hinged solely on their documented military prowess or diplomatic skill. Instead, it was their capacity to understand the sovereign's temperament, their current political anxieties, their personal vanities, and their strategic objectives that determined their fate. The interview is no different. It is a stage where one must perform, not merely present. The performance is not about reciting facts from a resume, but about crafting a compelling narrative of indispensable utility, a story that resonates with the interviewer's unspoken agenda. This requires a profound shift in perspective, from being evaluated to actively evaluating the evaluator, discerning their vulnerabilities and aspirations. The candidate who fails to grasp this fundamental truth operates at a profound disadvantage, blind to the true forces at play. Therefore, the true objective is not to pass a test of competence, but to dominate the narrative, to control the perception of your value, and to subtly shift the power dynamic in your favor. This involves understanding that the interviewer is not a dispassionate judge, but a human being burdened by their own pressures, fears, and ambitions. They are seeking not just a solution to a problem, but often reassurance, validation, or an ally. Your task is to identify these underlying needs and to position yourself as the optimal provider for them, even if those needs are entirely unstated. This necessitates a strategic approach, one rooted in the principles of social engineering rather than simple information exchange. The interview becomes a carefully choreographed interaction where every word, every gesture, every pause is a deliberate maneuver in a larger game. This is the bedrock of our analysis, the foundation upon which true mastery is built. To truly master this domain, one must first understand the mind of the prince, the interviewer. Niccolo Machiavelli, in his seminal work, exhorted leaders to understand the inherent selfishness and self-interest of human nature. He advised princes to prioritize appearances over reality, to be feared rather than loved if both could not be achieved, and to always act in the interest of maintaining and expanding power. Applied to the interview, this means the interviewer, regardless of their outward demeanor, is fundamentally driven by self-preservation, ambition, and the desire to avoid personal risk. They are a prince within their limited domain, seeking to make a decision that enhances their standing, mitigates their vulnerabilities, and aligns with their superiors' expectations. Understanding this core motivation is paramount. It provides the Rosetta Stone for deciphering their questions and their underlying agenda, moving beyond the superficiality of the job description. Machiavelli's genius lay in his unflinching realism, his willingness to confront human nature as it is, not as one wishes it to be. This analytical lens reveals that the interviewer's stated objectives, finding the best candidate, cultural fit, are often euphemisms for deeper, unarticulated concerns. Are they seeking someone to alleviate a personal burden, to bolster their own team's perceived strength, or perhaps to serve as a loyal subordinate who will not challenge their authority? A leader like Emperor Augustus, despite his public persona of republican virtue, was a master of consolidating power through subtle manipulation and the careful cultivation of allies. He understood that true influence came from discerning the hidden desires and fears of his senators and generals, then positioning himself as the indispensable solution. The interviewer, similarly, operates within a complex web of personal and organizational politics. To read the interviewer, one must observe beyond their words. Their body language, the cadence of their voice, the specific framing of their questions, and even the ambient environment of the interview room offer invaluable clues. Is their posture open or closed? Do they maintain eye contact or avert their gaze? Are their questions probing specific technical skills, or are they more interested in your ability to handle ambiguity, manage conflict, or demonstrate loyalty? A skilled strategist, much like a seasoned poker player, understands that tells are everywhere, betraying underlying anxieties or hidden agendas. General Sun Tzu in The Art of War emphasized the importance of knowing oneself and knowing one's enemy. In this context, the enemy is not an adversary but a complex entity whose motivations must be thoroughly understood to achieve a desired outcome. This forensic observation is the first step in crafting a truly effective response. Identifying the interviewer's hidden insecurities is a delicate yet potent maneuver. Does their department consistently underperform? Are they facing pressure from above? Do they fear being overshadowed by a new, highly competent hire? These vulnerabilities, though rarely articulated, drive their decision-making process. The candidate who can subtly position themselves as the solution to these unstated problems, rather than merely a recipient of a job offer, gains an immense advantage. Imagine a medieval courtier recognizing the king's anxiety over a rebellious duke. The clever courtier would not merely praise the king's wisdom, but would subtly suggest strategies or alliances that assuage that specific fear, thereby making himself indispensable. This requires empathy, yes, but an empathy devoid of sentimentality, an empathy deployed as a tactical weapon. Furthermore, discern their real desires beyond the superficial demands of the role. Are they seeking innovation or stability? A disruptor or a consolidator? Someone who challenges or someone who conforms? Often, the stated requirements of a job description are a composite of ideals, while the interviewer's true desire is a specific type of individual who fulfills an immediate, often personal, need. A Roman general evaluating potential centurions wouldn't just look for martial skill, he'd discern who possessed the loyalty, the cunning, or the quiet obedience necessary for his current campaign, even if those traits weren't explicitly listed in the legion's recruitment scrolls. This nuanced understanding allows you to tailor your narrative, not to what they ask, but to what they truly seek, thereby creating a resonance that transcends mere qualifications. The strategic mind, therefore, views the interviewer not as a monolithic entity, but as a complex individual, a prince with their own internal court of fears, ambitions, and political calculations. Each question posed is not merely an inquiry, but an opportunity to project the precise qualities that address their specific, often unstated, requirements. This deep psychological penetration allows for a level of calibration far beyond what any generic best practices guide could offer. It transforms the interview from a reactive exercise into a proactive campaign of influence, where every interaction is a deliberate stroke on the canvas of their perception. This is the essence of Machiavellian engagement, understanding the terrain, assessing the opponent, and deploying one's forces with surgical precision to achieve the desired end. Only through this prism can one hope to truly dominate the interview space. The preparation for this psychological engagement begins long before the interview itself. It involves a meticulous mapping of the terrain, an intelligence-gathering operation far exceeding a cursory glance at the company's About Us page. Identify the interviewer's professional history, their published articles, their social media presence, and any common connections. Seek out former employees or industry insiders for candid insights into the company culture, the team dynamics, and crucially, the interviewer's personal leadership style and professional pet peeves. This reconnaissance is not about flattery. It is about constructing a detailed psychological profile, anticipating their biases, their preferred communication patterns, and their specific pain points. A general would never march into battle without exhaustive intelligence on the enemy's fortifications, troop movements, and supply lines. The interview demands no less rigor. Creating scarcity is a powerful, yet often overlooked, psychological lever. This is not about fabricating other offers, but about subtly communicating your high demand and discerning nature. Your presence in their interview room should not feel like a desperate plea, but a selective engagement. This can be conveyed through a confident, unhurried demeanor, the thoughtful questions you ask about their vision and challenges, and the implicit message that you are evaluating them as much as they are evaluating you. A rare commodity commands a higher price. Historically, monarchs would often make themselves less accessible to enhance their perceived value and authority. Their presence was a privilege, not a given. Your posture, your tone, your very presence must project this same aura of selective availability and intrinsic worth, challenging the inherent power imbalance of the traditional interview setup. Language, both verbal and non-verbal, is the primary tool for projecting silent dominance. Your physical presence must convey confidence without arrogance, authority without aggression. Maintain an open posture, avoid fidgeting, and use deliberate, measured gestures. A firm handshake, direct eye contact, but not a stare, and a calm, resonant voice are all subtle cues that signal self-possession and control. Consider the bearing of a seasoned general addressing his troops, confident, unwavering, projecting an aura of certainty even in the face of uncertainty. This is not about superficial mimicry, but about internalizing a sense of self-worth and purpose that naturally translates into a powerful physical manifestation. The silent language often speaks louder than any articulated statement of skill, subtly influencing the interviewer's subconscious perception of your leadership potential and gravitas. Framing your responses is perhaps the most critical tactical maneuver. Never answer a question as if you are seeking a favor. Instead, frame your experience and skills as a solution to their identified problems or unstated needs. Every answer should implicitly or explicitly address a challenge the company faces, a goal the interviewer wants to achieve, or a gap they need to fill. When asked about a past success, don't just recount it. Explain how that success directly translates to value for their organization. This transforms you from a candidate hoping to be chosen into an expert offering a valuable service. Think of a master strategist like Cardinal Richelieu, who presented his counsel to Louis XIII not as advice, but as the only logical path to consolidating royal power and national prestige. His solutions were always framed within the king's own interests, making them irresistible. This reframing requires precision. For instance, if asked about a weakness, avoid platitudes. Instead, present a past challenge you actively identified and systematically addressed, demonstrating self-awareness and a proactive approach to improvement, always linking it to a positive outcome or a learned lesson beneficial to the role. This showcases not a flaw, but a capacity for growth and strategic self-correction. It deflects the negative connotation and repositions it as a strength of character and intellect. A seasoned general, when questioned about a past tactical error, wouldn't deny it, but would meticulously explain how that very error led to a refined strategy that secured future victories. The narrative is always controlled, always aligned with projecting competence and continuous development, transforming perceived deficits into strategic assets. Furthermore, employ the power of strategic silence. Do not rush to fill every pause. A well-placed silence can convey thoughtfulness, allow the interviewer to process your answer, or even prompt them to elaborate, thereby revealing more of their internal landscape. This is not awkwardness, it is a tactical pause, a moment of subtle control. A skilled orator knows the precise moment to pause for dramatic effect, allowing their words to resonate more deeply. Similarly, a master of psychological influence understands that silence can be a powerful interrogative tool, coaxing out additional information or allowing the interviewer to inadvertently reveal their biases or expectations. It creates a space for reflection, shifting the burden of communication, however briefly, onto them, subtly altering the power dynamic. The final act of dominance in the interview occurs when the tables turn and the candidate assumes the role of evaluator. This is the checkmate moment, where you subtly reverse the power dynamic by asking incisive, well-researched questions that demonstrate your strategic thinking and your genuine assessment of the role's true impact. Do not ask generic questions about company culture or growth opportunities. Instead, inquire about specific challenges the department faces, the metrics used to measure success in the role, or the interviewer's vision for the company's future in a specific market segment. This signals that you are not merely seeking employment, but actively evaluating whether this opportunity aligns with your own high standards and strategic trajectory. You are no longer asking for a favor, you are assessing a potential partnership. These questions must be crafted to reveal the interviewer's own vulnerabilities or aspirations, compelling them to justify the role, the team, or even their leadership. For example, given the market shifts in X, what specific strategies are being deployed to mitigate potential disruptions, and how would this role directly contribute to that resilience? Such a question forces the interviewer to articulate their vision, or lack thereof, and positions you as a strategic partner capable of contributing to high-level problem-solving. It moves beyond the transactional and into the transformational. A truly astute leader, like a Roman emperor facing a potential usurper, would use pointed questions not to seek information, but to expose weakness or to gauge loyalty, turning the gaze of scrutiny back upon the questioner. This is the art of strategic deflection and redirection. By posing such questions, you subtly shift the psychological burden onto the interviewer. They are now compelled to convince you to articulate the value proposition of their organization and to demonstrate why they are worthy of your talents. This reversal of roles is profoundly disorienting to those accustomed to holding all the power. It forces them into a defensive posture, compelling them to sell the opportunity rather than merely evaluating your suitability. The narrative control has been seized, and you, the candidate, become the discerning arbiter. This is not about arrogance, but about establishing parity, a recognition that true talent is a valuable commodity that demands respect, and a compelling proposition, not just an open door. It asserts your agency in a process often designed to diminish it. In conclusion, the job interview, when stripped of its conventional romanticism, reveals itself as a stark arena of power dynamics and psychological maneuvering. Mastery is not achieved through adherence to superficial advice, but through a rigorous application of Machiavellian principles, understanding human nature, discerning hidden motivations, and strategically deploying one's persona and narrative. The candidate who approaches this interaction as a calculated campaign, armed with intelligence, psychological acuity, and an unwavering focus on perceived value, is the one who transcends the role of supplicant. They do not merely seek a position, they command it. This is the essence of virtù in the modern corporate landscape. The capacity to act decisively and effectively, to bend circumstances to one's will, and to secure outcomes through strategic foresight and an unflinching understanding of the human condition. This philosophy transforms mere ambition into an irresistible force,